Water is the most political substance on Earth. Nations have gone to war over it. Rivers have been dammed, diverted, and weaponized. In the arid expanse of southern Africa, where drought is a constant companion and climate change deepens every crisis, water scarcity is not an inconvenience, it is an existential threat. But in February 2026, 3 countries decided to write a different story. On February 11th, the Southern African Development Community, SADC, Project, Preparation and Development Facility approved $1.83 million to advance the Lesotho-Botswana Water Transfer Project, a landmark regional initiative designed to tackle water scarcity and strengthen resilience across southern Africa. 700 kilometers, 3 nations, 1 river, moving not by gravity alone, but by agreement. This is the story of the river that moves nations. Botswana is one of the most water-scarce countries in the world. The Kalahari Desert covers 70% of its land. Rainfall is unpredictable. Rivers are seasonal. The capital city, Gaborone, depends on reservoirs that can run dry. Population growth and economic expansion have placed increasing strain on already fragile water systems, especially during extended drought periods. Meanwhile, 700 kilometers to the south, Lesotho has the opposite problem. The Maluti Mountains catch rain and snow. Rivers flow year-round. The Senku River, known as the Orange River in South Africa, carries billions of cubic meters of water to the Atlantic Ocean, unused. Despite making up just 3.4% of the Orange Senku River basin, Lesotho plays an outsized role as the region's water tower. Its high-altitude catchments capture significant runoff from the eastern part of southern Africa, which receives the highest rainfall. For decades, this was simply geography. Some countries have water, some countries need it. The challenge was always how to move it, across borders, across watersheds, across political divisions that have historically made cooperation difficult. The Lesotho-Botswana Water Transfer Project has been under discussion for more than a decade, first conceptualized in 2011. But what was once a distant dream is now moving toward reality. The project will channel water from Lesotho's Highlands through South Africa to Botswana. It involves the construction of a retention dam on the Makaleng River, a tributary of the Senku River system, and a 700-kilometer water conveyance system. The numbers are staggering. 150 million cubic meters of water transferred to Botswana annually, 158 million cubic meters supplied to Lesotho and South Africa, 45 megawatt hydropower facility installed at the dam site retention dam on the Makaleng River, with over 1,200 million cubic meters capacity. The project is designed to take the model of Lesotho's iconic Katse Dam, a concrete arch dam that has supplied water to South Africa for decades. The total implementation cost is estimated at approximately P41.7 billion, use 3 billion. For Botswana, the water will benefit inhabitants of the southern part of the country, conveyed through the Niwine Dam in Lobatse. On February 11, 2026, the SADC Project Preparation and Development Facility approved $1.83 million to support preparatory work for the project. The funding will cover 2 critical components. First, an Environmental and Social Impact Assessment, ESIA, covering the proposed dam and water conveyance infrastructure. This assessment will evaluate the project's environmental and social implications, identifying risks and proposing mitigation strategies before any construction decisions are taken. Second, a comprehensive feasibility study addressing financial, legal, and institutional frameworks to ensure long-term sustainability. The study will explore funding options, legal agreements between the 3 countries, and governance arrangements for the transboundary infrastructure. The PPDF is part of the SADC German Cooperation Framework, funded by the German government and jointly implemented by KfW, the German Development Bank, and the Development Bank of Southern Africa, DBSA. This collaboration underscores the importance of international partnerships in driving sustainable infrastructure development and regional integration. By investing in preparatory studies, SADC is laying the groundwork for a transformative project that will secure water, energy, and food systems for generations to come, a milestone in regional cooperation and sustainable resource management. The Lesotho-Botswana Water Transfer Project is not just about drinking water. Its objectives are far broader. Energy security. The 45-megawatt hydropower facility will add generating capacity to Lesotho's grid, supporting the country's ambition to become a regional energy player. The project includes both dam-based hydropower, 30 megawatts, and smaller generation along the conveyance system, 5 megawatts. Food security. The project will support irrigation, enabling agricultural development in areas currently too dry for reliable farming. Approximately 60 million cubic meters per year is earmarked for irrigation. Economic growth. Lesotho's Minister of Natural Resources, Honorable Molomi Moleko, has highlighted that the project brings economic prospects of agricultural activities, fisheries, establishment of industries, and upliftment of communities around the area, including tourism activities. For Botswana, President Advocate Duma Boko emphasized that the transfer of water will not only tackle water scarcity, but also drive economic growth and development. With this project, the region is set to experience a new era of water security and sustainable development, he said. The Lesotho-Botswana Water Transfer Project is not just about drinking water. Its objectives are far broader. Energy security. The 45-megawatt hydropower facility will add generating capacity to Lesotho's grid, supporting the country's ambition to become a regional energy player. The project includes both dam-based hydropower, 30 megawatts, and smaller generation along the conveyance system, 5 megawatts. Food security. The project will support irrigation, enabling agricultural development in areas currently too dry for reliable farming. Approximately 60 million cubic meters per year is earmarked for irrigation. Economic growth. Lesotho's Minister of Natural Resources, Honorable Molomi Moleko, has highlighted that the project brings economic prospects of agricultural activities, fisheries, establishment of industries, and upliftment of communities around the area, including tourism activities. For Botswana, President Advocate Duma Boko emphasized that the transfer of water will not only tackle water scarcity, but also drive economic growth and development. With this project, the region is set to experience a new era of water security and sustainable development, he said. The project operates within a robust institutional framework designed to ensure equitable and sustainable use of shared water resources. ORASECOM was established in the year 2000 under the revised SADC protocol on shared watercourses to manage the Orange Senk River Basin cooperatively. The basin covers about 1 million square kilometers, spanning Botswana, Lesotho, Namibia, and South Africa. ORASECOM's role in this project is to oversee information sharing and risk management through a water information system, WIS, support the identification of projects based on feasibility studies, and mobilize investment. The organization acts in support of equitable access to water resources and increased climate resilience within the basin. The SADC revised protocol on shared watercourses provides the regional legal framework for transboundary cooperation, aiming to facilitate the establishment of shared watercourse agreements and institutions, advance the sustainable, equitable, and reasonable utilization of shared watercourses, and promote their coordinated development and management in an environmentally sound manner. No project of this scale comes without challenges. The environmental and social impact assessment will need to answer hard questions. What happens to the river downstream? How are wetlands affected? What about species that depend on seasonal flows? Communities along the proposed route, villages, farms, towns, must be consulted, compensated, and protected. The ESIA will not be a desk exercise. It will involve communities, civil society, and independent experts. Because a project built without consent is a project built to fail. The feasibility study must navigate complex financial, legal, and institutional questions. robust transboundary coordination will be essential, including agreements on cost sharing, benefit distribution, environmental protection, and community safeguards. Full implementation will depend on securing additional financing from development banks, donor partners, and potentially private investors. The SADC PPDF funding, while critical, represents early-stage preparation. The total project cost of $3 billion requires substantial additional mobilization. If successfully realized, the Lesotho-Botswana Water Transfer Project could become a flagship example of regional collaboration, reinforcing water, food, and energy security while deepening cooperation among participating states. The African Union's Agenda 2063 calls for exactly this kind of regional infrastructure. The Programme for Infrastructure Development in Africa, PIDA, has dozens of similar projects waiting to be built. If Lesotho, Botswana, and South Africa can make this work, it sets a precedent for every river that crosses borders on this continent. President Boko captured the moment's significance when he addressed the media after the July 2025 site visit. We look forward to that scintillating moment in the history of this region when the commencement will start and eventually flow of water to these countries. 700 kilometers, 3 nations, 1 river. The Makaleng River rises in the mountains of Lesotho. It flows into the Senk. The Senk becomes the Orange crosses into South Africa. And one day, if the studies are right, if the funding holds, if the politics align, some of that water will turn north. It will be pumped across watersheds, through pipelines across borders. In Gaborone, a woman will turn on her tap. The water that comes out will have traveled 700 kilometers. It will have crossed 2 international borders. It will have generated electricity along the way. She won't think about the feasibility studies or the funding approvals. She will simply have water. Water is not just a resource. It is a relationship. The Lesotho-Botswana Water Transfer Project proves that African nations can build that relationship together. Not with speeches, not with resolutions, with pipelines, dams, hydropower, water flowing across borders, carrying life with it. This is what African cooperation looks like. This is the river that moves nations.